You're 45. You pulled up your 401k balance last week and did the math in your head. Maybe it landed around $87,000, maybe closer to $119,000, maybe it was closer to zero, and you've been avoiding logging in for months because you already know what you'll find. And the thought that showed up right after was probably some version of this: I waited too long. Everyone else my age already figured this out. I'm the guy who works until he's 75, and even then it might not be enough. That thought doesn't hold up against the actual math. Not the stay positive kind of pushback, the kind using the same numbers the Federal Reserve, the IRS, and the Social Security Administration publish about people exactly your age. By the end of this video, you'll have a real number, not a guess, telling you exactly what building a dividend income stream from here actually requires. It's smaller than you think. 3 things in order. First, the real runway you have left using data most 45-year-olds have never seen. That proves this isn't a 5-year sprint. It's a 15 to 25-year build. Second, a tax trap quietly draining returns out of dividend portfolios for people your exact age. One almost nobody explains correctly. Third, one formula using your own numbers that tells you what to invest each month from here to hit your target. Stay for that last part. It's the reason this video exists. Start with the runway because it changes everything else. According to the Federal Reserve's own survey of consumer finances, the median household aged 45 to 54 had a combined 401k, an IRA balance of $119,000 as of the most recent survey. That's up from about $106,000 a few years earlier, which barely outpaced inflation over that stretch. If you're sitting at or below that number, you're not behind some invisible pack of high achievers. You're, statistically, exactly where the typical American your age already is. What matters more is what's still ahead of you. You're not building this over the next 5 years. Retire around 65 and you have 20. Work a little longer, even part-time, and you could have 25. 20 years is enough for a dividend growth portfolio to move through multiple full market cycles, multiple downturns, multiple recoveries, and still come out ahead. Because time in the market, not perfect timing, is what a dividend snowball actually runs on. There's a second piece of runway most people never account for. Starting at age 50, the IRS lets you contribute an extra $8,000 a year into a 401k on top of the normal limit for a 2026 total of $32,500. That's not a footnote. That's 5 extra years, ages 50 through 54, where the tax code is specifically built to let late starters catch up faster than everyone else. There's a third lever a lot of people overlook completely: Social Security. Every year you delay claiming past your full retirement age up to age 70 adds 8% to your monthly benefit for life. Delay from 67 to 70 and your check is 24% higher, permanently. That's a better guaranteed return than almost anything else available today, and it's one more reason 45 is closer to the middle of your runway than the end of it. None of this erases where you're starting from. Gen X, your generation, is carrying the highest average credit card balance of any age group in the country right now, according to Experian, over $9,000 and climbing. If that's you, this video isn't pretending the debt doesn't exist. Part of the plan is knocking that down first, because every dollar of interest you're paying at 20% is a dollar that can't compound for you instead. This next piece I call the catch-up cliff because it's a window that opens and then slams shut, and almost nobody plans around it in advance. Once you turn 50, you get that extra $8,000 catch-up contribution. Between ages 60 and 63, the rules change again. The IRS lets you contribute an extra $11,250 instead for a combined 401k contribution of $35,750 in 2026. The moment you turn 64, that bigger number disappears and you drop back to the regular catch-up amount. It's a 4-year window, and at 45, you're exactly 15 years away from walking through it. There's a second wrinkle here, brand new for 2026, and if you make good money, pay attention to this one. If you earned more than roughly $145,000 in wages from your employer the year before, your catch-up contributions can no longer go in pre-tax. They have to go into a Roth account instead. And if your employer's plan doesn't offer a Roth option, you can't make catch-up contributions at all until they add one. The final rules on this weren't published until September of last year, so a lot of finance content made before then doesn't even mention it. If this applies to you, that's a conversation for your HR department now, not 5 years from now when you actually hit 50. This is the mistake I see catch-up investors make more than any other, and it costs real money every year without most people noticing. They see a REIT, a real estate investment trust, paying a big yield, and assume it works like a regular stock dividend for tax purposes. It doesn't, and the gap is bigger than people expect. According to Nareit, the industry's own trade association, the average REIT dividend breaks down like this. 78% is ordinary taxable income, taxed at your regular income tax rate, not the lower capital gains rate. 12% is return of capital, which isn't taxed right away, it just lowers your cost basis. Only 9% qualifies for the lower long-term capital gains treatment. Compare that to a Dividend Aristocrat, a company that's raised its dividend every single year for at least 25 straight years. There are 69 of those companies right now according to S&P Dow Jones Indices, a record high for that list. Most aristocrat dividends qualify for the lower tax rate, as long as you've held the shares for at least 61 days around the ex-dividend date. That's an actual IRS rule, not a rule of thumb. 61 days inside a 121-day window. Sell 1 day too early and the entire dividend reverts to ordinary income tax treatment, even if your brokerage originally coded it as qualified. None of this means avoid REITs. It means know what you're holding and where you're holding it. Put the REIT, the higher ordinary income payer, inside a 401k or an IRA, where none of this matters yet because retirement account withdrawals get taxed as ordinary income regardless. Put the qualified dividend payer, the Aristocrat, or the diversified dividend ETF, inside your regular taxable brokerage account, where the lower rate actually helps you. Get that backwards, and you're quietly handing a chunk of your return to a tax bill you didn't need to pay. One more piece worth knowing. There's a 20% deduction on qualified REIT dividends that a lot of people assumed was expiring at the end of 2025. It didn't. Congress made it permanent starting in 2026. The REIT tax picture is actually a little better than a lot of last year's videos on this topic are still telling you. They just haven't caught up yet. Knowing the tax rules doesn't matter much if you don't know the actual number you're working toward, though. That's where this gets personal. On this channel, we've talked before about your dividend freedom number. Take the monthly dividend income you want in retirement, multiply it by 200. Want $2,000 a month in dividends? Your freedom number is $400,000. That's the finish line. A finish line by itself doesn't tell a 45-year-old what to actually do on Monday morning, so this is the formula that does. Call it the 15-year number. Grab a calculator or your phone's notes app and run it right now. Step 1. Take your freedom number, your target monthly income times 200. Step 2. Subtract what you already have invested today. That's your gap. Step 3. Divide that gap by the number of months between now and your target retirement age. That result is your 15-year number. It's the flat, no growth, worst case monthly contribution required to close the entire gap by yourself, with zero help from compounding or dividend growth along the way. Let's run it with a real example. Marcus is 45. He wants $2,000 a month in dividend income by 65. His freedom number is 2,000 times 200, $400,000. He currently has $85,000 invested, right around that Federal Reserve median from earlier. His gap is $400,000 minus $85,000, $315,000. He has 20 years until his target age, 240 months. $315,000 divided by 240 comes out to $1,313 a month. That's his 15-year number. And this is the part that matters most. That number assumes his money does absolutely nothing on its own. No growth, no reinvested dividends, no compounding at all. A real portfolio reinvesting dividends over 20 years needs meaningfully less than that from Marcus directly, because the market and the compounding carry a real share of the load for him. His $1,313 number is his ceiling, not his prediction. His actual required contribution drops below this every year he stays consistent. Now watch how this shifts across 3 different starting points, because your number isn't Marcus's number. Starting from 0, same 20-year runway, same $400,000 target. The ceiling is $1,667 a month. Starting from $250,000, well ahead of that median, the ceiling drops to $625 a month. Same target, same age, wildly different required action, because your starting line is doing more work than most people give it credit for. Run this with your own numbers, your freedom number, your current balance, your years to target. That's the one that matters, not Marcus's, not some generic guideline from a blog post. 3 things to walk away with. The 15-year runway. You're not 5 years from done. You're likely 15 to 25 years out, and the tax code specifically rewards late starters with bigger contribution limits starting at 50, then again from 60 to 63, right before the catch-up cliff closes for good, at 64. The return of capital trap. Know whether what you're holding pays mostly ordinary income, like most REITs, or mostly qualified dividends, like the Aristocrats, and put each one in the account type where its tax treatment actually works for you instead of against you. And the 15-year number, freedom number, minus what you already have, divided by your months to go. That's your worst case monthly requirement, and real compounding makes your actual number smaller than that every year you stay in the game. Go back to that thought you had staring at your account balance. I waited too long. Everyone else already figured this out. They didn't figure out something you can't. They just ran different math. Math that assumed there was no time left. You now know the real math. The Fed's numbers, the IRS's numbers, the actual tax rules for 2026. That math says 45 isn't the end of the runway. It's the middle of it. Drop your 15-year number in the comments, your target monthly income, your current balance, your years to go. I want to see the real math, not the guess you had in your head before you watched this. Once you know your number, the next question is what you actually put your money into to hit it. That's exactly what's laid out in the best ETFs to live off dividends in America, where the specific funds get broken down tier by tier, built to work with this exact formula. Go watch that one next.